We won't miss too much, but...
All right, here we go. We see GameKing right there. We do have webcams for this tournament, as you guys can see. Both of them playing from their home. As we see a Tram Protector onto a Bristleback in the lane 1, and down goes a Bronze Legionnaire for GameKing.
Which curves and does hit the tree instead of the tower, so already the tree in pretty low health, 4 health already. Not great to be in, but he did dodge the kind of the duel with Bristleback because of the creep placement, so... And that's 2 Bronze Legionnaires.
That feels
Turn
good.
1, that is a powerful start.
The reason Bronze Legionnaire is so strong turn 1 is because it enables, it basically trades for free with a creep. It knocks it out and it establishes early board presence, as we see the Mercenary Exiles drop there by Lifecoach on the 3rd lane to back up Axe, which got paired in front of Phantom Assassin. One of the few matchups that Axe does not win, which is good for GameKing right there.
Right away we see Lifecoach with a lot of lane 3 dominance, so 2 creeps spawning on this turn as well. Normally not the best. You normally want Axe maybe lane 1 to really take control of that lane and have the better matchups going forward. But right now it's looking like Lifecoach is going to have a lane 3 priority. And again, Drow into lane 1 could run into Bristleback, and that could be a huge, huge problem because she would get decimated just right away. And lane 2 into Axe as well. So, I mean, Drow right now, this is a tricky, and yeah, he has to go lane 3. Dodges both of those combats against Axe and Bristleback, which you don't really want, but you're putting so much resources into lane 3, and you're leaving lane 1 and 2 so open for the second turn of the game.
Lane 1 is looking solid for GameKing. Bristleback and Lich are deployed there, while Lifecoach only has Strand Protector. I expect perhaps Salamini's favor here to be played onto one of the other 2 lanes. Maybe Lifecoach has to give up this lane early on, even though he has Beastmaster on deployment next turn. Beastmaster does not have the heaviest presence and is not going to trade well with Bristleback, for example, as fortunately for Lifecoach, Bristleback, well, it depends on how you interpret it, right? Because now Bristleback is going to get the +2 armor because of this gank. But Lifecoach does prevent a little bit of damage here, as that gank, though...
The initiative helps. They would have killed the hero anyway, but right now they just guarantee tower damage and also guarantee that Mist of Avernus doesn't come down and Salamini's favor doesn't come down into different lanes. So huge play there by GameKing. Obviously, Lifecoach can still play it. Oh, that was just...
That is nasty. That Viscous Nasal Goo is going to reduce Legion Commander's armor by 2 and going to enable GameKing to also dominate this second lane early on. GameKing is applying the pressure on Lifecoach, who is... ultra focus mode, as you can see right there.
And because it's getting hit by 2 different sources of damage, it's you know, even more valuable in this case. And Legion Commander was perfectly fine before, but now Axe hits for 8 damage because there's -1, so it's like adding 1 more point of damage. And the little creep that could hits for 1 more damage as well, so it's going to be at 3 in this exchange.
So for new players watching, the way armor works is it denies a certain portion of damage for each instance of impact, right? So in Axe's case, he has 2 armor, which means that this factors retaliate, for example, independently, right? So in that case, reducing the armor, as you said, because of 2 targets onto it, made that Legion Commander take a lot more damage and actually go down that turn. As we see, both heroes are going to go down here, but this is, as of now, looking to be Lifecoach's lane, as his Drow is currently unaffected, and we see GameKing having no available play here. GameKing with only 3 cards left, he's going hard just from the beginning.
Yeah, there's a big difference here between both players in terms of the game state right now. GameKing is obviously winning it. He has a lot of pressure on you know, the 2 most important lanes, I think. And also in the card advantage, GameKing was able to play a lot of early plays like Gank, like Bronze Legionnaire, but that also means you have less cards for later on. And if you don't have as many impactful cards, you don't curve perfectly, that can really diminish your odds of, you know, taking control over the game later on if you don't close it out quickly. So it looks good for GameKing, but if Lifecoach can stabilize and go into the late game, we see the Time of Triumph, we see Berserker's Call, we see Primal Roar, and we see the ramp that you need to get there quicker. Plus the Mist of Avernus, which is just, you know, a time bomb. I mean, you put that down, you have X amount of turns till it's all over. So we'll see if Lifecoach can really just, you know, kind of stop the pressure here. It's going to be hard, though. And maybe
he's down to 13 on that first lane. That is just... If he does not deploy the Beastmaster there, he will get his tower knocked out. Turn 3 of the match. No matter what deck style you're playing, that is not something you want to see. We may see Beastmaster actually go down on the second lane, which is definitely more defendable. But then again, you are facing Axe, which is never something you want to face in any lane. Axe, one of the most powerful heroes in the game as of right now, and he does deploy to the second lane, abandons first, and he's going to lose that tower. As I said, turn 3, that is bad. That's That's devastating for Lifecoach here. That's dangerous.
Especially when you're not really playing a red-black that's as aggro as other versions, like Solar Khan version.
Yeah.
You're playing a Lich version instead. So getting this early tower kill and still being able to ramp into Chain Frost turn 7 or turn 4 rather when you have 7 mana, that is really big for GameKing. So it might, I mean, there is a lot of armor, I think, on Lifecoach's side maybe as well, so it won't be as impactful. If he plays, you know, for example, Mercenary Exile, you have armor as well, Stonehall Elites. But still, I think it's going to be a big card, especially keeping the initiative as well.
But it's important to note that a Viscous Nasal Goo was applied to
die for
yeah, see, he has lethal, so he has to activate his Lich's active, which enables him to sacrifice a creep to draw a card. As, like I said, he's already well above lethal on this tower, so it's definitely, you know, Lich, his ability is not something that you apply too many times in a game. Like, it's a more...
Very
specific,
situational.
Yeah, very situational, exactly. But he can definitely afford to go with it there. But as I said, his Legion Commander is with -1 armor now, so it will take 4 damage from a Chain Frost, which means 2 hits from Chain Frost will knock it out, and that can be a big hindrance towards Lifecoach. As you said, this is not an aggressive variant of Red-Black. The longer the game goes, GameKing has a lot of power himself.
We see GameKing putting down a Stonehall Elite, which I think indicates that he's going to win this lane, but he's also maybe going to at least threat to push for the Ancient. Spending resources into this lane where you can keep that card advantage and that card for maybe to contest lane 2 later on. It could be a good drop. In this case, I think it's a pretty big statement from GameKing saying you either contest this lane in the next turn, the next 2 turns, or I might end up winning the game off an Ancient kill instead of 2 towers.
Ooh, or not.
Or he's just looking, okay, he's blink daggering away.
I think this is a clear blink here.
Yeah, must be.
You already got lethal on this tower. You can always, you know, go back to it if you want to focus on the Ancient, like you said. And you know, lead your black hero to a different lane. He only has Slay available as a play, but he can equip a Stonehall Cloak onto it and just blink it to lane 2. I believe lane 2 is where GameKing wants to focus, and he does go to lane 2. One of the important things about a matchup against either red-green or red-black is they don't really have solid AoE. So you can go wide on a lane and not worry about being annihilated, like, for example, versus blue. So
without the Stonehall Elite there, he would not have gotten lethal. Would have been off by 1 point. So very, very good play by GameKing. Spending his resources that he needs to win that lane this turn, just so he doesn't have to contest it later on, and now being able to go 3 versus 1 on this lane 2. He only has to win this lane and he wins the game, so he can spend all his resources here, whereas Lifecoach can't really do that. He has to win 2 lanes still.
Lifecoach has a sick Primal Roar here, though. He can spook away both Axe and Legion Commander. Primal Roar is Beastmaster's signature card, which will stunt the unit in front of a red hero that you select, and will move the 2 allied neighbors of said stunned unit to random different lanes. So you can utilize Primal Roar here to get rid of Axe and Legion and send them to either lane 1 or lane 3, depending whether that dice rolls right there, as Stonehall Cloak goes down onto Lich here.
This is a big play by a lot of pro players. They stall the rounds out to try and be reactive with their cards by equipping items instead, which is a very... If you're not too scared of an initiative impacting spell, like you said, Primal Roar, Berserker's Call, you can stall it out. We see both players equipping items and saying, you play first and I'll react to you later on.
Yeah.
And Lifecoach, 7 mana because of Salamania's favor, the ramp improvement that is on his lane, and GameKing finally does answer with a Bronze Legionnaire.
Slay could be very strong. Slay could represent 14 damage to the tower here if applied on the left side creep, as we see Stonehall Elite's going to trade there with the Bronze Legionnaire.
Or it could also be a Slay here.
That's even better. That's pretty solid.
That's the magic of having a 4/2/2 that costs only 2 mana. You still have 3 mana up for Slay to be played as well.
GameKing applying the pressure on the second lane, going for the kill here. Though Lifecoach has not 1, not 2, but 3 heroes on the fountain ready for deployment for next turn. And the Slay still goes down on the left side melee creep there, translating to 14 damage, dropping Lifecoach down to 22. Lifecoach is on the verge of defeat here. He has to come back.
And we see that he gave more importance to the aggro tower damage going face instead of keeping that minion alive. So he ended up with a worse board state going forward, but that damage to tower is probably going to be more valuable because this is a race against the clock. You're racing against a deck that ramps up into Time of Triumph in that lane, exactly, in lane 2, faster than you.
I think I would not be surprised to see triple hero deployment onto the second lane to get a nasty Time of Triumph right there, as he does get a Blink Dagger, so I am even more certain that this is going to happen here. Abandoning lane 1 and just, there we go. There we go.
And this might turn the game around completely.
Yeah, this is gonna be insane. This is gonna be actually, we do see GameKing with access to a coup de grace, which enables him to condemn an enemy hero, which but he's got 3 more to deal with after this, and Beastmaster's active is available to him as well. It's going to be a big swing for Lifecoach. This may be the turn in which the game goes in his favor here. He may make a comeback.
And because there is only one green hero, if Time of Triumph was green, you could hold initiative, play coup de grace, and kill the green hero and kind of block that play from being made. But there's 3 red heroes and Time of Triumph is red, so there's no real way to stop this. Frost Chain, Chain Frost is good, but not that good. There's a lot of health on these heroes, so it's not going to be able to penetrate all the way through. Even though Legion Commander is with a -1 armor still, it was a modify effect from the Viscous Nasal Goo, so in 2 hits from Chain Frost it's dead, but there's still 2 more red heroes, so I think there's no real play to make here from GameKing to stop this from happening.
The question is, which of the red heroes do you prioritize? If you prioritize a red hero here for the coup de grace, I think the answer may be Beastmaster, as he has his active available to him. Even though he does have his bounty reduced by the Reptile Signet Ring. For new players watching, each time a hero dies, you obtain basically the player who killed the hero obtains 5 golds. But the item that the Beastmaster has equipped reduces the hero's bounty, which is the amount of gold that he gives away upon dying, to 2. So it reduces it by 3. So that's important to consider. But I think GameKing obviously preserves initiative there, which is very important in Artifact, as having the first play is always, or the vast majority of the time, advantageous, as that play cannot go answered. So we're going to see here. What do you opposite go with?
Lifecoach has 10 mana available. I'm going to expect Time of Triumph to come down just to take control.
He opts to kill the green hero, which is the correct play, I think, denying any potential green play. But oh my lord, this Time of Triumph. The prime red win condition right here. This is the reason you play the red faction. It gives every one of your heroes in that lane +4 attack, health, armor, retaliate, cleave, siege, and all the keywords you can think of. They get all those.
I think I should give it +4 bounty as well, just to make it a little bit more fair. just to make it, have every single keyword.
Look at side of the board. Everything's going to die.
It went from almost no red arrows to everything red arrows. So.
Oh, my lord, the swing. And he still does have his active on the Beastmaster available right there. On the left, you see that square glowing. That enables him to summon a Loyal Beast, which will be 4 attack thanks to Drow Ranger.
That's even more tower damage. If it doesn't curve, it does not curve.
16. Oh, this could be the turning point for GameKing right here. The question is, what do you can't really afford to blink this turn, right? Because you get a full-on kill. You can blink next turn. You should not blink dagger this turn. He does not blink dagger, and he gets 3 kills on that lane, just switching it up completely. Though this is GameKing's chance to get a little bit of momentum here.
And now he is going to have to, I think, switch his focus to this lane. I mean, lane 2 is looking,
man.
Even though it's low on the tower HP, you can't really go up against a Time of Triumph unless you have your own Time of Triumph.
Oh, okay, deny.
Yeah, it takes control of this lane. You're going to get some okay minion trades. There's 16 gold to be spent on Mercenary Exiles if you need it, but I think Lifecoach will probably save that for some items. There's still a good trade for the Mercenary Exiles, I think, or at least it's not dying, so probably keep this board state like it is.
Lifecoach looking to make a comeback after that crazy early game pressure that GameKing applied. GameKing also kind of like blew his hand out here. He only has a Chain Frost left. Yeah, the Lifecoach got all those sweet resources there available to him. Those Berserkers Call are going to be nasty.
We mentioned it was going to be, if GameKing can finish this off before Time of Triumph, it'll be okay for him, but Lifecoach was able to stabilize with Time of Triumph, completely turned the lane 2 around. There was 3 heroes from GameKing the last turn before this one, and it looks like he had it in his control, but in this case...
Do you think, if you're GameKing, do you think you try to go for that Ancient? I think that may be his way out. I think it depends where Lifecoach blinks, obviously, right? But Lifecoach can't get too comfortable here. If he gives up that first lane, for new players watching, basically right now what Lifecoach has is the Ancient, not the tower. Once the tower goes down, this blue thing, whatever you call it, pops up.
Blue Ancient.
The blue Ancient.
Think of it as an energy core under the tower.
The energy core.
Much better.
Has, with a little bit of dramatic intensity there, has 80 health. So in Artifact, you can win via 2 ways. You can either take down 2 opposing towers, bring them down from 40 health to 0, or you can take down a tower and the Ancient after that, which you have to take down 80 health afterwards. But we see a Blink Dagger onto Bristleback here. Will he blink? He does. Okay, he's prioritizing the third lane. He's abandoning the Ancient idea. It makes sense. He's not playing an aggressive Sorla variant. He's more of a control with Lich.
There aren't tools to bring it down from 64 to 0 in one turn. I mean, you don't have Nevermores, you don't have, the Oath or kind of these aggro options that some decks have brought. So I think in this case, this is more like an AoE variant with Chain Frost kind of taking control maybe against blue-green, a better matchup. But the Blink Dagger, or double Blink Dagger, might come down from Lifecoach. I think it's a risky play, but...
This is powerful. This is powerful because this enables him to get good damage this turn. This is Berserker's Call. And we may see double Blink here, as you said. One is happening for sure.
Now, if 2 happens, do you think GameKing changes his plans again, goes lane 2 instead, tries to get a coup de grace kill early and just take the tower before Lifecoach can respond?
I think so. I think that's the way to go. I mean, obviously, you always want to prioritize the earlier lane, right? So in this case, whatever happens in lane 2 occurs before lane 3. So if you can... you take that priority. So we'll see if Lifecoach goes for the
I think he'll only go on. If not, he loses the lethal as well in this tower. So I think it's not worth the risk.
It's very risky, especially considering you're only at 22 health, and GameKing has 3 heroes on upcoming deployment here.
And even more, if he's blinking to the lane 1, he has a chance next turn to, or maybe 2 turns after, to re-blink back from lane 1 to lane 2. But because you're going forward instead of backwards, you don't have that chance. You're always going to be going backwards and skipping a turn in a way. So I think in this case, you just keep both heroes here. You guarantee the lethal, and then next turn you can blink out and you kind of assess the situation and play, with all information on your side. But
Lifecoach has so many ways to abuse and so many power plays. He has Berserker's Call, Primal Roar, Gust. At this stage of the game, almost every card in his hand is such a huge power play. It's going to be really hard to stop him now. This is insane. Like, the fact that GameKing applied so much early pressure, it was looking really rough for Lifecoach here, but that setup for the Time of Triumph just changed everything. And the more I think about it, the more I like this Beastmaster inclusion. That Primal Roar just makes you feel very secure.
Oh, the double blink.
Okay.
Those are big plays from Lifecoach.
Okay. Interesting.
He has a chance to maybe keep initiative and with Berserker's Call or Primal Roar kind of shut down the pressure from GameKing if he goes all in on lane 2. But it is still risky, I think,
GameKing can gain initiative through Chain Frost, though. It's important to know. Like, GameKing has many more tools than Lifecoach to gain initiative, regardless of plays.
Although Chain Frost on 4 armor and 6 armor, I mean...
Yeah. No, but if he draws like a coup de grace or something...
That's true,
yeah,
that's
the thing. Like, he has the initiative proc, he just needs a removal, which could happen.
GameKing stalling here. I think he knows Chain Frost isn't going to be very useful.
Yeah.
You can kill the creeps, but in the end, you're not going to get more tower damage or very little tower damage because your heroes are lined up against his heroes, against Lifecoach's heroes. And also to mention, in lane 2, towers survive with 5 HP.
Ooh, another Berserker's Call going down here. Gonna get 19 damage. Lifecoach is close to ending this game. Gonna drop down GameKing to 10 health on the 3rd tower. The 1st tower went down for Lifecoach. The 2nd lane tower went down, or is about to go down for GameKing. Never mind. He's still
at 5
alive.
HP.
He's still living.
And 5 HP does play around the 4 siege from the Legion Commander, so if he's able to block it all off and not take that, immediate, but yeah, that's really close to lethal. I think you cannot contest that lane, because now you know that you either kill your opponent's heroes or the 4 siege is going to kill the tower regardless, so the best you can hope for is a tie. At this point, you have to go all in on lane 2, but you're playing against 3 heroes, and it's 3v3, it's still 22 HP.
I like this double deployment from Lifecoach. He recognizes that GameKing's only out here is to just go all in on that 2nd lane, and he deploys both Drow Ranger and Treant Protector there, and as he has Gust. So he does not have initiative, though. GameKing has initiative, and he's definitely not going to give that up. I would expect triple hero deployment onto the 2nd lane. Maybe Axe somewhere else to get. No,
I think it has to be.
Yeah, obviously.
This is I think the combat phase is going to dictate who wins this game. I think it's going to end here. Obviously, we're looking at a 3 HP tower in lane 3. So
yeah, you can't deny the siege from those heroes anymore. As Time of Triumph also gives +4 siege, and here we go, folks. This will be the last turn of this first match, and it looks like Lifecoach is going to be working for a comeback here.
Well, GameKing might survive in lane 2 with only +4 siege from Legion Commander. The Treant was killed before Time of Triumph was casted, so...
Yeah, he doesn't have initiative, but GameKing has no way to stop, this Primal Roar.
That is true, that is true.
This Primal Roar would just win him the game here. This Primal Roar is like kind of like another Berserker's Call in a way. Like it's just so powerful at this stage of the game.
And you have so much mana that you can gust.
You can gust and Primal Roar. What
and just seal the deal with no risk whatsoever. That is Gust for you. Gust is a very strong card, and 2 Salamania's favors in 1 lane also make it so that you have 12 mana when your opponent has 8. That is a big difference.
Oh, and instead he just opts to go for I mean, there we go. The forfeit, and Lifecoach takes the first game after a strong comeback against GameKing in a very dominant display, though.
Looking quite grim for him. Right away, we go straight into turn 2 of the game. Lich coming down and Drow Ranger coming down for Lifecoach. The players have switched perspectives, and now we see GameKing at the bottom and Lifecoach on the top of the screen here.
Gonna have to deploy Drow Ranger in the first lane, which is gonna die to Phantom Assassin right there. As we see Lich gonna be deployed onto the second. I like this deployment from GameKing. I'm not sure I like that Drow from Lifecoach though. He's kind of feeding it. I mean, it's gonna trade, right? It's gonna trade with, but at the same time, like GameKing could have easily gotten a cloak here.
Soul of Spring will save it though. It will give it +4 regeneration, so it's gonna be 11 health really, which is gonna be save it by 1. But there is a Damaging Maul from GameKing, so
that will enable him to knock it out.
Or Tyler
denied.
Tyler Estate, even better.
Yeah, be silent. The Tyler State Sensor is basically a 4-drop for black, which enables you to reduce the opposing tower mana by 1. Very powerful, very underrated 4-drop. At least it was during the early stages of the beta, in my opinion. And it's very key in this matchup too, because it slows down Lifecoach's plays by 1, and Lifecoach, his deck becomes really nasty from the turn in which he has 6 mana onwards, right? So it's gonna be interesting to see how impactful Tyler State Sensor will be in this game, as GameKing did not draw them in game 1.
And Stonehall Elite, perfect turn to play this. I think GameKing knows the value of Stonehall Elite and decides to duel with the Axe instead to save this.
I like this duel.
And it's still going to save it from dying because, like you said, Retaliate Retaliate is a different source of damage, so it doesn't add up to the attack of Legion Commander. And the 2 armor comes in clutch here.
Yeah, again, for new players watching, Legion Commander has 6 attack and +2 Retaliate. So she deals 6 damage, and then she independently she deals 2 more damage through Retaliate when she contacts with another hero. Axe has 2 armor, so he denies 2 damage from the initial 6, dropping it down to 4. And the 2 Retaliate is completely denied by his armor because it's hit in a different timing. So Axe only takes 4 damage from Legion Commander, while most heroes take 8, which is very important.
We saw the trade in lane 1 the last turn. Obviously, Lifecoach had a plan to play Soul of Spring. It modifies, so it's something that if you play it early, you get the full value throughout the whole game for every green card you play. It's a very powerful card, but the Tyler State Sensor was able to shut that gameplay or that game strategy down completely, and Drow ended up dying, which is huge because it affects the whole board, not just that lane.
GameKing gonna try to retake that first lane with Legion Commander deployment there, as Lifecoach will send Beastmaster and Treant Protector to try to contest that first lane. Kind of hinting that he's giving up on the second lane.
In lane 2, it looked great for Lifecoach once he dropped that Stonehall Elite, but the duel and the Bronze Legionnaire turned that lane around completely. Yeah. Thanks to the very low mana cost of both of those very impactful cards. And GameKing, it looks like in complete control of that lane. No hero deployed obviously this turn either. They both went to lane 1, so you might have lane 2 already in control, do you think?
It's early to say, because we thought that was the case in the earlier match, but with Salamania's favor, Lifecoach has nutty late game comeback potential.
And 2 deployments next turn as well, so that could if he stacks that second row, he could turn it back around for himself. I like the Red Mist Maul. It was bought from the secret shop. None of these players did bring this item in their standard 9-item list, but playing this earlier, guaranteeing 5 damage every single turn that Legion Commander's alive. Legion Commander, pretty healthy hero, also a little bit of armor there sprinkled in, so this is a lot of damage. It might look like just 5 damage, it's not too great, but after every turn that is being played, it can add up really quickly.
Yeah, for new players wondering, that 5 damage onto a tower is coming from the Red Mist Hull's, the Hammer Siege. It gives +2 attack and +5 siege to the equipped hero. Siege is a mechanic which enables heroes, or creeps as well, to deal damage to the tower despite being blocked. When entering combat, they will deal 5 damage directly to the tower. And we see we see the spring right there.
Solo spring coming down. It adds a regen, which means basically it heals your heroes after the or like at the same time as the combat. It's a little bit tricky to understand how it works exactly, but think of it kind of like armor that can also heal after the combat phase if there is space to heal, if it's not already at max health.
This lane looking pretty solid for GameKing right here as he drops the Stonehall lead to apply extra pressure. Gonna bring down that tower to 16 health.
And the Magicking Maul in hand also means a lot in this matchup because there are very, very impactful improvements like Mist of Avernus that add, boost every single unit, modifies every single unit on the board, on that lane at least, by one attack every single turn. And of course, we saw Salamania's favor last game, which really helps in ramping up in Lifecoach's strategy.
And here we see Axe is directing his attack towards Bristleback as Bristleback is directing his attack towards Bronze Legionnaire. Kind of unfortunate scenario here for GameKing. I mean, he gets rid of the Bronze Legionnaire, right? But he does miss out on 8 damage onto that tower. And Axe also is able to get 7 damage on to his hero, leaving it very vulnerable right there. As here we go. Big deployment phase for Lifecoach as he gets both Drow Ranger and Legion Commander back. We'll see where he opts to develop them.
GameKing deciding to go into lane 1 with Phantom Assassin, try and retake control of that. We mentioned it before, lane 1.
He's repeating the process here. He wants to set up that nasty type of Triumph again. Again, because Red-Black has no way to punish these sorts of plays. You can commit all of your heroes to a lane against Red-Black, and they will not be able to wipe out the board. So they kind of have to, win that lane via muscle, right? And it's a very early, it's a rather early lane abandonment there for Lifecoach onto the second one, right? Like he's just giving that up completely, but it's also smart. There's no way you're taking that back, and setting up this Time of Triumph, it's what's going to win you the game eventually, right? But the Tyler State Sensor here definitely can slow things down, and he has a second one in hand. GameKing can focus his Tyler State Sensors on this lane and deny that Time of Triumph from happening anytime soon.
Yeah, it's the anti-ramp. I'm a bit surprised he didn't try and maybe divide his green hero so he has a chance to maybe cross-lane cast something like Salamania's favor to make impactful plays on this lane while still ramping up from a different lane that he's already won, maybe the third lane. But I think Lifecoach knows what he's doing quite well. He's going to just provide more bodies on the board, make sure to trade effectively. He has the Beastmaster ability available as well, and he did know that the Treant was going to die. So if he needs a green hero in this lane for the next turn, and Treant's not going to survive this, there'll be no healing item in Lifecoach's hand. He knew that this was, what he had to do.
There is a Signet Ring right there. I definitely expected the Magicking Maul here to be equipped onto Phantom Assassin so she can knock out the Beastmaster, and then Lifecoach would respond to that with his Reptile Signet Ring. I guess that's what GameKing's pondering here, and he's definitely going to equip it now, I feel.
See 2 mana available, but no, well, I guess the duels.
Yeah, there it is. And I think the Signet Ring's going down on Beastmaster to keep it alive. It's important for this Phantom Assassin to be blocked. So, because in case, again, for newer players, once more, we have an item here, the D-Magicking Maul, English, which not only boosts the equipped hero by 2 attack, but also if that hero has no units blocking it, you can proc its activate ability, which enables you to destroy 1 random improvement from the opponent's tower. In this case, there's only 1 improvement. It's that Salamania's favor, that hand that you see floating, is giving Lifecoach 2 extra mana onto his tower. And it's imperative for GameKing to deny this because that is how he lost the prior game. And Lifecoach, very solid duel here by Lifecoach. I really like this play. I really like it. He needs to get rid of these Tyler State Sensors so he can actually Time of Triumph next turn. Very important.
And he had the 2 mana available thanks to the ramp. He was able to ramp up and still have the extra 2 mana that boosted it up. So able to make 2 plays in that lane, Salamania's favor, and the duel, because it's so low mana. And in this case, the trade is obviously great for a red hero against a creep in this case. Not very strong creep. Just no armor, so the retaliate does full effect as well. But lane 2 is looking like I think GameKing has this one, don't you?
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's very important for GameKing to keep initiative. He needs initiative to deny the Time of Triumph, or try to deny the Time of Triumph next turn. The question is, will this Chain Frost, how impactful is this Chain Frost, which is going to be available for GameKing this turn? This could be really strong. Looking at that board state, he could get a very nasty wipe here.
And he could kill 2 red heroes, which denies the time of triumph.
Oh boy, this Chain Frost is powerful.
The green spells in hand are going to be strong. You can play 2 mists, or you can play, Rose Leaf Druid to ramp even more. But really, the most impactful spell in Lifecoach's hand is the time of triumph. If you can deny that this turn, and get rid of those bodies and get some direct damage on that tower, and
if he kills the Beastmaster, he gains initiative through Chain Frost and he can remove the Salamania's favor. This Chain Frost could save GameKing at this point. If Lifecoach gets this time of triumph off, he will win this game.
That's exactly it.
He has to. This Chain Frost could be godly for GameKing here.
The third sensor as well. To if he removes the ramp, he's able to anti-ramp even more the next turn. So.
We're going to see Chain Frost 100% here. The question is, will it knock out the Beastmaster, which he does target? Oh, it's going to... Okay, he got it. He got it. Denied.
Both red heroes. Mana goes down to 6.
Immediately going for the Magic Ball right there and shutting down Life. That was a game, like... How do you say not game-losing play? Basically,
game-winning, Mongo. That's the word you're looking for.
Thank you.
Winning is the opposite of losing in the English language. We're looking at 17 straight damage to tower, so you get rid of the bodies, you deny time of triumph, you deny the Salamania's favor.
Yeah.
That was an absolutely insane impact play from GameKing.
Yeah.
Lifecoach, we saw him sighing. He was. I think he knew it was coming once he saw no plays being made in lane 3 to save the Bristleback.
Exactly.
He expected, the initiative was going to be a big thing, and you see why it's so important in this game.
Exactly. That's a prime example of the importance of initiative in Artifact. Having the first play available to you can be game defining. It's something you have to fight for, and it's one of the beautiful things about this game. You have to know when to sacrifice optimal, board development or just plays on a lane for the sake of having first say on another one, and that's one of the things that really determines, the skill in a player.
And the TP as well in hand from GameKing means he can pull out one of his heroes in lane 2, which he has already won. He doesn't need to spend more resources there. Pulls out maybe the Axe, maybe the Lich. He can keep the Lich on that lane to eat some creeps and maybe get some card advantage that way as well. Pulls out a big body like Axe, heals him because he does go back to the fountain and redeploys in lane 1, whereas Lifecoach, he has no red heroes to redeploy next turn. He has the Axe in lane 3. It does have a Blink Dagger. He could maybe decide to swap it over to lane 1, but then GameKing has that tower exposed where he can go for lane 3 instead. Yeah. So it's tricky for Lifecoach. That, like we said, it was a huge play for GameKing, and it really turned this game around.
And on we go to the second lane. We may see a Town Portal Scroll here.
I think we definitely see it.
Definitely see it.
Or not.
He may be going for the Ancient there. Oh,
once you slow down lane 1, he could say, you have to deal with lane 1, take control of that one again, stop me in lane 2, and still get lane 3. So now Lifecoach, there we saw it. He's going to focus on lane 1 completely. Forget about lane 3. Bristleback could go lane 3 possibly to try and.
But the thing, Lifecoach has a very steep hill to climb here. He has to retake lane, like he's abandoned lane 3, which he's only gotten 4 damage on. Like Lifecoach has only been able to damage the first lane, while GameKing is already racing.
He's racing. Bristleback looks like it's going middle, so that is going to be an ancient race for sure. And if GameKing can draw coup de grace, he kills the red hero this turn again.
Oh, okay, he's going for the first one. He wants to make sure that he can deny. I mean,
he has his own time of triumph as well. That's the thing. So I think in this case, it's GameKing. If he draws coup de grace, he can deny the Axe again this turn. He can deny the time of triumph.
He does have initiative, and he has his own time of triumph as well. So it'll be an equal board state here. He does draw it.
There it is.
He does draw it.
Again, there's a red hero on Lifecoach's side. Time of triumph is.
He can coup de grace and duel potentially. I think definitely gonna see this play. Oh, or not. Okay. Going big. Oh, and there's the forfeit from Lifecoach. GameKing equaling the score 1-1 with that key Chain Frost right there to deny the time of triumph for Lifecoach. We're going to a game 3, ladies and gentlemen.
Right away and into game 3.
Here we go. Axe versus Axe.
These players don't wait. We're gonna go into turn 2 already.
I thought that was lane 1.
turn 3 is boring. Why watch turn 3? Or turn 1. You either play a Bronze Legionnaire or you don't. That's all there is to it. We do see one played on Lifecoach's side. The players have changed perspectives again. And Bronze Legionnaire was the only play made, I think, turn 1. And both heroes died, so that was a gruesome lane already.
I think we are seeing Lifecoach debating here between Refto Signet Ring and the Potion of Knowledge. One will, he has to go for the Signet Ring. I like this. He has a pretty solid hand, honestly. He has the ramp, he has removal, he has Soulhall Elite. The only thing he's missing is obviously cards to ramp into, right? He wants Time of Triumph. Time of Triumph is the most important card in this sort of deck. As you see him deploy, we have Drow Ranger versus Lich in lane 1 as he draws Spring the Trap and Mist of Avernus, while GameKing has two very solid 4-drops right there, which he's very fond of in Tyler State Sensor and Oglodi Vandal. And there is the MVP of last game sitting in his hand again, Chain Frost, one of my favorite cards in Artifact. I'm a Lich fanboy. I gotta admit, like I love his card, and you know that game is a really good example of why it can just dominate lane. And the fact that it gives you initiative is so good.
So the sequencing here I think is really important. He could have played maybe Salamani's Favor and then missed in the next lane with Treant, but in this case he gets the missed value this turn as well because he gets the boost, and then he can play back Salamani's Favor to lane 1 if he wants to prioritize both lane 1 and lane 2, share the resources in that way. So sequencing there, very important. Lifecoach, obviously a very good player. He knows this. He knows how to manage his resources to try and, you know, win the game. That's, I think, the goal in Artifact, right? You want to win games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but I like winning games. Feels good. We see Mist of Avernus is obviously an improvement that you want to play as early as possible. The earlier you play Mist of Avernus, the more powerful, you know, the more value it
It
will
snowballs.
give you.
It snowballs. Every single turn adds even more value. So the
It's
sooner
like
you get
Ignite.
it, it's like many cards in this game. The sooner you play them, the more value you're going to get from them. Same with Bronze Legionnaire. Bronze Legionnaire maybe got 4 tower damage last turn. Looks like it's at 36.
And it kills a creep
and now
for
it kills
free.
a creep. So if you play it turn 1, you're getting value every single turn until it dies, and it stops. It stops giving you value. But
in case you're new in Artifact and you want a solid, you know, common 2-drop, Bronze Legionnaire is the best 2-drop in the game. Because of that 2 armor, it never takes damage from creeps unless they are boosted by the likes of Drow Ranger, and it's able to basically, as you see right there, kill them for free. He takes no damage in that exchange, and he warrants a slay from GameKing.
Not going to kill for free any longer. GameKing does not like that. Those free kills, giving free value to Lifecoach, not his style.
Not a fan of that. This Mist of Avernus getting some really, you know, good value early on as we see those creeps going up to 4 attack, which enables the far right creep to one-shot GameKing's melee creep.
And the Bronze Legionnaire as well.
And the Bronze Legionnaire. This is Mist of Avernus is so good.
That's where the sequencing matters. Now instead of you know not getting those kills, you're getting them this turn, getting the gold as well, clearing out the board. You know, not leaving it wide for GameKing to kind of take advantage next turn and try and get tower damage. So big play by Lifecoach. Salamani's Favor.
Where will we see this deployed?
That's the thing. I mean, if you want lane 1 priority, if you want to have, you know, Time and Triumph going down quick, you can maybe do that. You can put all your resources into this lane as well.
There's an argument. I like the argument of playing Salamani's Favor on the first lane to kind of like disperse your threats.
Lifecoach does not like your
going all in.
argument.
I mean, at the same time against Red-Black, why not just stack all your resources on one lane? Again, they can't punish you for that besides, you know, rushing down the other 2 towers. Like, Lifecoach has to make sure he can overcommit in a way, but he can't overcommit too much because he has to make sure he stays alive in the other 2 lanes.
And again, it's important he draws his ramp cards like Mist of Avernus, like Salamani's Favor, but you also need cards to ramp into. We see Spring the Trap, which is going to be great, but we're missing Time of Triumph. We're missing the finisher here. So even if he can race to Time of Triumph or to the 8 mana, you know, threshold in the next 2 turns, he needs to draw the cards he needs to play as well. So Lifecoach obviously going to be waiting on that top deck, I think, very anxiously.
We saw there Bristleback gaining the +2 armor. That is his reactive ability. Basically, when a hero blocking him dies, he gains. He's modified by 2 armor, which makes him even better than Axe at that point, as he does have 1 more attack and health. So that turns Bristleback into a big nuisance because you don't want to deploy your heroes in front of him, as his ability can be snowbally as well. So obviously the thing is, when you focus Salamani's Favor on a lane, you kind of telegraph where you're deploying your heroes, and GameKing knows, you know, which lane to prioritize, perhaps defending.
Potion of Knowledge being bought, I think, is a very clear statement that me and Lifecoach are on the same wavelength. He needs that Time of Triumph. He needs to draw into it, and that just gives you an extra draw this next turn if he uses it. Of course, using items does use up initiative. You have to, you know, play at the right moment where you don't really value initiative too much. And turn 5 still isn't too scary. No Chain Frost coming down. Not going to be as scary. For Lifecoach, he can, you know, kind of not expect too many strong plays. Maybe Tyler State Sensor is the scariest thing because it's kind of anti-ramp.
Everybody's favorite card has been drawn here, Cheating Death for Lifecoach. This could be applied onto the mid lane to just add in another powerful resource there that will basically prevent stuff from dying, and that's pretty good. You know, when things don't die in Artifact, that's a good thing.
It could be cross lane as well.
Top 10
if you don't care too much about this lane right now, kind of give priority just to lane 2. You can throw in a cheating death, maybe have it activate proc next turn when the treant comes down, and you can cross lane that as well. We see 2 little arrows next to the cheating death, next to the 5 mana symbol on the card, which means that you can cast it from lane 1 to lane 2 or lane 3. So this game really lets you spread your resources and use your the management of resources as one of the biggest skills really in Artifact.
Yeah, well said right there. Lifecoach is debating about okay, he's gonna go for the potion on, and there is the time of triumph.
Easy. I mean, this is just that easy. Lifecoach has just really high skill. Poaching knife coming down from
the secret shop for sure,
and it blocks the Reptile Signet Ring from saving Drow as well. So
yeah.
Maybe you could have waited for Lifecoach to equip the item first and then, kind of make him waste the Signet Ring in a way, not have it be as impactful, at least this turn. But
I mean, the thing is, the poaching knife does grant him with more gold, so I guess he wanted to ensure that he got that extra gold from killing off this Drow, as cheating death will go down on the first lane, and now it's a 50% chance whether this Drow will live at 1 or not, and it didn't proc for Lifecoach right there, so...
I think I saw a bit of an easy clap from GameKing there on the webcam, but I might be mistaken. But I would definitely easy clap once cheating death is an
I would too.
And there's the anti-ramp coming down from GameKing. Tyler State Censor has a great ability, just takes away mana from your opponent.
I was just about to say, I think we're going to see a duel here. I think this is a very clear duel. That's a very problematic creep for Lifecoach, and he just immediately denies that.
And we saw there no armor on the creep, 8 health. It looks like Legion Commander is not going to kill it, but Retaliate comes in and does end up killing that creep. So very important to really read all these abilities on the heroes when you're playing Artifact, because a lot of them can really screw you. If you're looking at this, you're like, oh, 7 attack, it's fine, not going to kill me, and then you're dead.
Viscous Nasal Goo, modifying Axe with -2 armor. Very big play. Axe without his 2 armor is obviously less of a, well, he's not a man, right? He's technically I'm not a lore expert here.
I don't see men like these on the street, so I don't think he's, the standard definition of men.
I know he's like the same species as the Red Mist guys. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not going to butcher this too long.
We do see 2 sources of damage, the creep and Axe, so again, he's taking that little bit of extra damage by reducing that armor. It's even more impactful.
And here goes the secret shop. Lifecoach can't afford to buy a healing salve here.
So he can buy a secret shop. Well, he can't buy a secret shop item, but he would have liked to. How do you pronounce that, Mogwai, that item on the left there? I know you're great with pronunciation. Natasha's guard, I think.
No comment.
Maybe Natasha. We'll just pretend it's Natasha.
Natasha.
Make it easy for the viewers as well.
Lifecoach does have initiative on the first lane, so he can, obviously he just passes here, he has no play.
He can not do anything because there are no heroes in the first lane, but...
And GameKing has no way, because he's still 1 mana away from being able to play Chain Frost, so he has no way to gain initiative back. This is very key, because Lifecoach is going to be able to cast Time of Triumph, and this could be game-winning right here for Lifecoach. This is super impactful here. GameKing has no way to stop this. He does not have the Chain Frost like he had last game, and there are 3 heroes in Lifecoach's second lane who are also going to get modified with +1 attack via Mist of Avernus. This is going to be a big turning point in this match.
And we see Beastmaster's ability as well to block some tower damage and probably get the kill on the Bristleback. It looked like it had 1 health and 2 armor, so it would be enough.
Oh, he's searching. He's trying to fish for it. See, this is situations in which where Hipfire, comes into play. Like something like Hipfire gaining initiative could have been really solid for GameKing, but he does not run it in his deck. He runs Uglody and Tyler State Sensors instead. No. The Hourglass can be impactful, but no answer here whatsoever from GameKing. This could be the winning play for Lifecoach here.
And we saw the 2 sides of the coins in Game 1. Time of Triumph coming early in Game 2. The counter to it, the Chain Frost. And Game 3 might just go in Lifecoach's favor because just the counter couldn't be played at the right time. There's no, obviously, there's no initiative, and it's not going to work out. There's too many red heroes there as well. You can't really stop with coup de grace.
Time of Triumph going to go down here for Lifecoach and going to really swing the game in his favor. Look at this massive upgrade. Look at those X's on GameKing's side. He's already got lethal. He doesn't even need to do anything else.
Coup de grace will stop some of the damage.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to say. You can stop the Beastmaster ability if you kill Beastmaster plus the direct damage to the tower. You can also kill the Treant, which kind of saves 2 of your heroes for later on. But again, now Chain Frost is basically useless because of the armor on both of those heroes. It will do absolutely nothing. It'll be, a little bit of a fireworks show, but not much else. And it's looking tough for GameKing.
In case anybody's confused, the reason why that Bristleback is going to die as well is because the heroes have +4 cleave. Cleave is a mechanic that basically, when you have a hero trading with the unit in front of it, you deal X amount of damage to its allied neighbors, in this case 4. So we see there that Bristleback is taking 2 damage because of the 2 armor, which protects, takes away 2 from that. So Tram Protector is the one dealing the damage to Bristleback, despite Bristleback not trading with anything right there.
4 minus 2 is 2.
I'm so good at math.
EU math. It's really pulling through for us here. But Gang comes down, does kill a creep, which does stop the lethal for now at least.
Which is important. It's important.
It is important. Not losing is important, Mamba.
Yeah.
Yes, that's very correct.
But you deny 1 turn of a potential race towards the Ancient.
That is true.
Which is why it's quite impactful here. Obviously, this third lane. Okay, so as of right now, Lifecoach is really down on health in the first lane, and this third lane looks to be.
It's not looking great.
Yeah,
let's be honest here.
Yeah, I kind of wanted
I think you want to say GameKing might win this one, but I don't think it's looking great. Berserker's Call not great there, and
there are the Blink Daggers. He's only able to get one of them though, but a Town Portal Scroll as well. He's going to be able to basically send one of the heroes to the fountain, and utilize Blink Dagger on the other one and teleport it to the third lane. I would assume, as he's already dealt 15 damage to that tower, and I would also expect Drow Ranger to be deployed on the third lane. Though he could, I don't know. He could also go first, but first lane doesn't make much sense, really. Like, the only thing he has to worry about is basically losing. Okay. I guess he wants to deploy Cheating Death, maybe.
He can play 2 Cheating Deaths as well. I mean, if you're really gonna, make this a good one for the viewers, why not just play 2 Cheating Deaths in 1 lane? That's what everyone wants to see, really.
I mean, he does have Cheating Death on this lane, so that will definitely discourage GameKing from wasting a resource such as Coup de Grace or Chain Frost on this hero. Even though Chain Frost is not that bad against Cheating Death, because you have multiple chances to knock out the hero, and with this board state, actually this board state is it's perfect for Cheating Death. He can target the Drow Ranger, then the Chain Frost will bounce back twice onto that melee creep, knocking it out. We'll see though if he opts to go for that. I mean, destroying Drow is always an important play to make, as her continuous effect is, obviously very impactful here.
You wouldn't say. Yeah. It does block also, of course, like you said, not just this lane. This lane is maybe already won, but you got the lanes as well. We'll see if Cheating Death does proc. Oh, 2 losses in a row already. Lifecoach, a bad coin flipper, which is something you need to have as a card game player. Coin flips are always important.
He's not trained. He has not pleased the RNG gods in his preparation, clearly, as we are going to see the de-magicking Maul. GameKing has had enough of this nonsense, and is going to proc its active to destroy the Cheating Death with the item. As GameKing does take the first tower, but this is looking nasty. Another Mists of Avernus proc, modifying these 3 heroes with +1 attack. Then we see like Blink Dagger and Town Portal Scroll, which he doesn't need any more pressure on this lane. He can just leave 1 hero here, and he will easily get lethal. And I would expect him to teleport to the third lane.
And Spring the Trap can be played cross lane to lane 3 as well.
Yeah.
We mentioned the cross lane plays. I mean,
this is where it's going to come into. Oh, this Spring Trap is so strong here.
You don't need. Yeah, you're going to save the Beastmaster ability for left lane. The Spring the Trap, I think, might be seeing play here to help that lane 3 as well. So you're saving all the resources you don't need for this lane, because you're 4 tower health and 34 damage is a bit overkill. Nothing else needs to be played here unless you're racing for the Ancient, and instead you can save all of these resources for lane 3 and just overwhelm your opponent quickly that way. So
I think GameKing, his only shot of winning here is to race down that Ancient, but I don't know. He needs to basically stall out a turn.
There it is, the Spring the Trap coming down as well.
Yeah, this is so much pressure. He's already... Okay, well, one of them does attack into Axe, but that doesn't really matter too much, as we do see Berserker's Call in Lifecoach's hand. I'm definitely expecting that play onto the Beastmasters to clear through the Axe. And it's basically going to come down to, can GameKing actually stall out a turn on this third lane and potentially 2-shot the Ancient on the first lane? That is his only chance here, but I don't know how he's going to be able to deny.
I mean, stall out a turn. He might lose this turn right now. I mean, Berserker's Call kills the Axe, 15 damage already on the tower, so that'll be GG.
He does have Spring the Trap, which
but I don't know if that's enough. It'll have to be like exactly the right places, and you still have the Beastmaster ability as well to add a little bit more
This may be over here.
I think this is looking pretty grim for GameKing.
He may survive, though. I think he has the tools to survive, maybe.
You are very optimistic.
I
think GameKing was dead 2 turns ago, my way. Once Time of Triumph was played, it was already over for our
gotta
Austrian
believe,
friends.
man. It's not over till it's over. Okay? Yeah, it's probably over.
There is initiative from GameKing's side.
Exactly.
Like you said, they're string the trap, but that's not really that impactful in this board stage.
But he has to play it. It does block 11 damage. Well, no, never mind.
Never mind. I mean, Berserker Salt, yeah, never mind. That's going to be a never mind for me. That's powerful.
Exact lethal for Lifecoach. Gonna take on this series versus GameKing 2-1. With quite the dominating display in this 3rd game with this red-green ramp right there.
Time of Triumph is a good card. I think we